Okay, so today you guys are learning about the three different types or forms of lines. Y'all are used to seeing slope intercept form. That's what you guys used more often in Algebra 1. But point slope form is actually the easiest one to write from. So your M, so your M right here is your slope. So whatever slope you have. Your x1 and y1 are just any point as long as it gives you a slope and at least one. If there are two, pick one. So you just choose or pick one point. And that is your x1, which would go here. That is an actual x. And then your y1, which would go here, and this is an actual y, because just like whenever you write equations, you will always have a y and an x, like y equals 2x plus 4. There's always a y and an x. And the next one, which is slope intercept form, this is the one that you're used to from Algebra 1, and M is still your slope. And B is your y-intercept, where it crosses the y-axis. So there would be 0, and then whatever that B is, where it crosses your y-axis. That would take the place right there. So B is your y-intercept. Standard form is always written with a number in front of x, or just 1, plus a number in front of y, or just 1, is equal to another number. And it is easiest to convert in the order of starting with point slope, then slope intercept, and then standard. And you guys will make sure that you pause this video every once in a while. Now would probably be a good time for everybody to catch up on writing. So just make sure that you pause it every now and then so that you guys can catch up. Okay, so we're given 2 points, and it wants us to write the equations in all of the forms. So the very first thing that we're gonna need up here, one of the biggest things, is this yellow. We need the slope. So we're going to find the slope of these 2 points first. And remember, your slope are your y's minus your x's. So, I'm sorry, your y's subtracted on top and your x subtracted on the bottom. I can talk. Okay, so -3, your slope is -3 minus 1 over -1 minus 1, which -3 minus 1 is -4, and -1 minus 1 is -2. -4 divided by -2 gives you a +2, so my slope is 2. Now it's easiest to write in point slope form, and you just pick one of these. It really doesn't matter. It's easier to deal with the numbers that are not negative, so I'm actually going to pick this point, but it does not matter which point you use. So you do y minus your first y, which in this case is 1, and it's my blue one, is equal to your m, which is your slope, so 2, and open your parentheses, x minus your x1, which is the number 1 in our case. And then your slopes were yellow. So that's where I got all those numbers from. And that, I'm done. That's it. That is point slope form right there, and we are done. And I'm just highlighting the numbers so that you guys can see where it comes from. You do not have to highlight if you do not want to. Now from here, we will put it in slope intercept form. So the very first thing that we have to do is distribute our slope. So we're going to distribute our 2. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times a -1 or a -1 is -2. And then we need to move our 1 over to the other side. So we're going to add 1 to both sides. And y is equal to 2x minus 1. That is our slope intercept form. And then from here, we're going to put it in standard form. So we're actually going to flip-flop our -1 and our y. And what I mean by that is we're going to add 1 to both sides, and then it's y plus 1 is equal to 2x. And then we're going to move our y over, so we're going to subtract y from both sides. So that y cancels, and 1 is equal to 2x minus y. And that is actually standard form, but typically the 1's on the other side, so we're just going to switch it around the other way. Just like x equals 5 is the same thing as 5 equals x. You can flip them around the other way. So this is standard form. So it's moving all the variables to one side, and then your constant is on the other, is standard form. All right, we're going to practice that one more time. We need to find our slope by subtracting your y's. Again, make sure that you pause periodically, because I know I'm going fast, but I have nobody to stop for right now. Subtract your y's, -1 minus 0 over, subtracting your x's, 1 minus 3. -1 minus 0 is -1. 1 minus 3 is -2. And -1 over -2 is a positive 1/2 is my slope. Plug that into the point slope form. So y minus, and pick one. This first one has a negative in it, and like I said, negatives are harder, so this would be the easier one to deal with. Y minus y1, which is 0, is equal to our slope, which is 1/2, x minus x1, which is 3. And this is my slope. This is my x. And this is my y. And that is my point slope form. Now to slope intercept. Y minus 0 is just y. Distribute the half, which is y is equal to 1/2 x minus, you could leave it 3 over 2, because 1 times 3 is 3, and then leave it over your denominator, which is 2, or you could just leave it 1/2, because half of 3 is 1/2. You have $3 and you split it in half, it's $1.50 each. So this is your slope intercept form. To put this one in standard form, instead of having all these fractions, we're going to multiply out by the denominator. So we're going to multiply everything by 2, and then we're going to do what we did on the previous one. So we're going to multiply everything by 2, and that will get rid of our fractions for us. So 2 times y is 2y. 2 times 1/2, or half of 2, is just 1, so just x. 2 times 3 over 2, what happens is when you multiply by the denominator, it gets rid of the multiplying in the denominator, so this is just 3. You could also say doubling 1/2. Remember, 3 over 2 was just 1/2, and when you double it, it's 3. If you have $1.50 and you double it, it's $3. Okay, so now we're going to flip-flop our y and our -3. So 2y is equal to x minus 3. We're going to add 3 to both sides. So 2y plus 3 is equal to, this cancels, so we're just left with x. We're going to subtract 2y from both sides. This cancels, and we're left with just 3 on the left, is equal to x minus 2y. And this just isn't very proper, so we're going to flip this around the other way. X minus 2y is equal to 3. And there you go. That's how you convert. And just make sure that you do day 2. And remember, you are not going to do 5, 6, 7, and 8 in that packet. Can't cross off 5, 6, 7, and 8 for day 2 in your packet. Don't try to do those. Those are terrible. And I will see you guys on Monday. Have a great